And now we turn to our fourth lecture that will be given by Professor Zipora Libman, who is the president of the Kibbutzim College of Education in Tel Aviv, Israel. Her research interests lie in the area of assessment and research methodology, ranging from theory to design in education. Her talk will focus on one large college of education in Israel and how it used this challenge as an opportunity to rethink education and sprout of seed of hope. Her talk is titled Teacher Education in a Time of Coronavirus, the Case of Kibbutzim College. Tipi, the stage is yours. I will give you a note of 5 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here. I'm Zipora Libman. This is my code name in the Shabak. I cannot change it, I'm sorry. I'm the president of the Kibbutzim College of Education, and I will share with you some how did our college cope with the crisis. Okay. As the global coronavirus pandemic opens up a new, entirely different set of challenges for the education system, we can see just how important it is to build a more adaptable and agile approach to learning and to reimagine education and teacher education. My presentation focuses specifically on my college, Kibbutzim College of Education, discussing some of the challenges of opportunities it faces in this new learning ecosystem. So, as you see in my slide here, our ambition was to change teacher education. Over the last 4 years, we are struggling to transform teacher education in our college, aligning the setting of teaching, learning, and assessing to be more future biased. We called it in Hebrew, Chasa, Chavaya Studentialit Acheret, and I'll translate it ESLE, Empowering Student Learning Experience. As you can understand, this is a very ambitious goal. Nevertheless, I'm glad to say that we had some success, especially at the awareness level, but also in practice. That said, it is well known that changes in general and changes in academia in particular occur very gradually. Before we get into the presentation itself, let me say a few words about our college, Kibbutzim College of Education. Our college ethos is based on intimacy, where small groups of students meet teachers face to face. We have infrastructure that supports this ethos, which includes wide open lawns, buildings, small classes, workshops, labs, equipment, and the academic schedule that is based on faculty meeting with their students on a regular basis. Suddenly, one day came the virus. In the midst of March, the notice went out and all classes at the college, as of course in the whole of Israel, must shift online at once. It was really a black swan event, a disruptive and chaotic situation that was forced on us. In the beginning, we experienced a shock. A vibrant campus, as you saw before in the picture, that human encounter and direct interaction are really burned into its DNA, found itself vacant and desolate. A college that established its reputation on its friendly atmosphere and face-to-face dialogue turned into a desert, metaphorically speaking, of course. Fortunately, we came to our senses very quickly and decided to be one step ahead and to take advantage of the situation, realizing that this is a fantastic opportunity to push forward ELSVE vigorously and reinvent ourselves. So our first motto was to our technology and digital pedagogy teams, quoting Churchill's words, "This is your finest hour." Our second motto was to the management and faculty teams, think positive. Let's turn this lemon into lemonade. This is, of course, easier said than done. So what were really the challenges? And I think I many of us understand what they were, but I'll elaborate. First of all, infrastructure. We ran into some difficulties regarding infrastructure, issues concerning hardware, software, workforce, not enough skilled manpower. We also experienced inequalities concerning students. Not all of them were connected to an adequate degree because they lack computers, internet, laptops, efficient Wi-Fi, even smartphones. Many of them didn't have suitable conditions for learning. They went back home to their parents. Some of them had financial difficulties, lost their jobs, had family problems, etc. From the management point of view, we experienced a loss of control, a feel of uncertainty intertwined with a sense of responsibility. We, after all, were responsible for the success of the semester. We felt an intrinsic demand for accountability despite all the circumstances. We had to run the campus with only, successfully of course, with only 30% of the administration staff and negotiating all the time desperately with teachers' unions who fought against changes in what they perceive as harming teachers' conditions and contracts. From the perspective of management, faculty, teachers experienced a huge change relating to the way they were forced to teach. Lack of enough knowledge concerning online pedagogy. We had online pedagogy, but not, in this disaster where everything at once had to be online. The demand to adjust to a completely new arena. As one professor uneasily asked, students stopped being my class. Am I still their teacher? Faculty also suffered personal issues and even infrastructure issues because they also lack sufficient conditions and didn't have all the needed software our technological labs have on campus. From student point of view, it was truly a dramatic change in the way they were used to learn. We came to know that many of our students lack the necessary skills for lifelong learning. They have difficulties learning independently. In addition, many of them have troubles focusing. They also experience loneliness because of this integration of their community. And many of them had also, as I said before, personal issues. On the other hand, we saw it as an opportunity. A challenge or troubles or despair, this is not good for education or for, planning. Hoping is a better plan for doing the best. So what were the opportunities? How did we see the opportunities? First of all, we were desperately promoting creativity, agility, and innovation. We as management constantly pushed faculty to be more agile, to innovate. The truth is that teachers as well realized by themselves that remote instruction is not copying lessons to Zoom or to Moodle. Something different must evolve, and it evolved during the semester. And I must admit that most of them really put out an effort to really innovate, to work together with students, to make a difference, to work together with each other. They even were passionate to invent and committed. And we feel they actually came through all right, considering the circumstances. We also decided to give up control, deliver a message of trust, encouraging autonomy. You couldn't hold everything as it was. So teachers got to the message, do the best you can, try new ways of teaching, collaborate with others, discover creative teaching and alternative assessment methods. This is the opportunity to do it. And of course, we were by them, helping them doing that. I'll elaborate a little bit after it. At the same time, we realized that we must find other ways to create intimacy and the sense of togetherness, keeping students and teachers as a community. After all, neither students nor teachers come to classes only to do their business and go home. The campus, every campus is an important social meeting place, especially our campus, as I said before. So there was a deep understanding that we cannot lose this special value of homey atmosphere that we had. Another thing, sometimes at difficult times, you get an opportunity to discover new heroes amongst teachers as well as students. Those who come forward, are committed at times of crisis, those who have grit and can invent something and can push and inspire others. So what did we actually do? First of all, we invested in infrastructure and professionals. We increased the number of technicians, of experts in digital pedagogy. We invested in maximizing the software licenses and bought more new software that enabled a more flexible and innovative instruction and evaluation. We, of course, delivered the message of trust and encouraged creativity in every way we could by regular meetings with our teachers. We focus on supporting bonding and relationships in these difficult times, sending a message of attention, caring, empathy, using Zoom meetings, WhatsApp groups, personal telephone calls, in order to be in touch regularly. These means of contact were also used concerning the communication between teachers and between teachers and students as well. In order to find solutions to inequalities, we lended laptops and iPads to students and teachers. We gave students options to delay their tuition fee, and we communicated with a special fund that offered students loans on special and very convenient terms, while the college paid for the interest. We established many special work teams, mission-driven teams for student personal support, one team, organizational internal communication, digital pedagogy, follow-up team for formative assessment, and lessons learned instantly. As a consequence, we reduced dramatically the instruction loads. We introduced structured breaks into the lessons. We transformed classes to flipped classrooms. We provided personal aid, as I said before, counseling hours. We demanded all lessons to be recorded after a great quarrel with the union. We also changed schedules and regularities of the curriculum. For instance, we decided to teach all the theoretical classes ahead, postponing everything else to the last month of the semester. The clinical classes, classes that must meet teachers face-to-face, classes that need facilities that exist only on campus. In some of the graduate programs, we split the one full day schedule into 4 evenings to accommodate to this new reality. We also insisted to keep and maintain all organizational structures and routine of regular meetings. Everything was conducted remotely. Board meetings, working teams, rituals, conferences, individual meetings, etc. This is an example of a class that was started only in the middle of the semester during the crisis, and the students couldn't meet with each other. So this is getting to know each other by using Padlet. And it was a very nice orientation and togetherness. This is a board meeting, of course, that was conducted via Zoom. So what are my short-term conclusions up till now? I think that considering the circumstances, it was really a success. Students and faculty said they feel a sense of gratitude, shared destiny, and special intimacy. Some will even say too much intimacy, a blur between the professional and the personal. We learn to listen to each other because of the Zoom and conduct a civil conversation. And this is in Israel, as you know, a very promising byproduct. The classroom door was open to visitors. I personally visited a lot of classrooms more than before. It was so easy doing that, and I was invited to many classrooms and I saw many things that happened during this semester, more than ever before. I I want to show you 3 examples. I don't know how many, what is the time now? Do I have time to do that? Jay? Okay.
Yes, you do. You have no problem.
יש לי כמה דקות?
כן, יש לך 5
Okay.
דקות לפחות.
So I'll give you a few examples of what happened during this semester concerning teachers and instruction. This is an example of an escape room, a lesson in literature. The theme was the fairy tales, and the teacher taught the students how to prepare and conduct an escape room, a virtual escape room. The student had to solve riddles, problems, puzzles in order to get out of this room. And here you can see the roadmap of the room, very, very complicated and complex. And the students, as an assessment project, had to do an escape room for their students by themselves. The next an example is from a course in ecology, in biology. Here the teacher, I'll show you the clip if we have time.
I'm not sure
Just
that
a
we
second.
can hear it through there.
Just a
If we
second.
don't hear it, I'll put it in from YouTube.
Just a second, my time flies.
שומעות אותי?
כן?
כן.
לוקחים מסכה, אין ברירה.
בכל זאת קנס של 200 שקל.
לוקחים משקפיים,
Just a second, someone will help me here to share it with you.
Okay.
In the meantime, just listen to the teacher.
Do you want me to stop this and share it from YouTube?
קיים בכל מקום. כל מקום, ואני לא הולך...
Maybe Jay is suggesting that he will share it from our computer through YouTube.
אני לא שומעת אותך, ליאת.
ג'יי מציע שהוא יעשה את ה-share screen ואז נוכל לראות את זה דרכו. אולי זה יהיה יותר קל.
עכשיו. Okay, Jay, please, thank you.
In a moment. In a moment. We should be there in a mamash in a moment. Let's see if I can get there. Yes. Let's go here. And let's try to share.
אני חוזרת אחר כך למצגת. זה לא שום פה, לא בעיה. I just wanted you to feel the atmosphere of the class. You can see here the teacher, he goes out of his apartment and shows the students 1 yard from home. You can see the whole ecology that you need in order to find a good research question, a good survey to conduct. And maybe you don't see that well. You see, he's dialoguing with the students. He asks them questions, uses humor, and shows them how to do it when you can go out of your apartment only 100 yards from home. You can see the bluebird is there. Okay, you can skip it, Jay. I'll go back to my presentation.
Okay. You can share again.
Okay, now, maybe I won't show you these clips. This is a third example. I think it's nice to see. This is from an education class. Students read and studied Bloom's taxonomy and were divided into groups virtually, conducted internal discussions, Near the
Zippy, you're
end of
not
the
sharing at
class,
the moment. You
the
can go back to
students
sharing.
watched these two clips from the movie Mona Lisa Smile, and were required to analyze and compare these two clips using the taxonomy. I think it's nice, but if I don't have time,
I'll put on the first one. I'll put on the first one.
Do I have time to show these clips?
We'll have the first one we'll put in here.
No, the first. So I'll tell you what. See the movie. I'll give you a recommendation to see the movie. The first clip shows the teacher after she gave the students papers to read, and then it's an art lesson, and the students knows everything by heart. They know exactly what she's going to do. Afterwards, she brings a picture that they didn't see, never had, and it's not in their syllabus, and it's new to them completely, and it's a very good school and very talented students, and they really don't know what to do with it. And these two clips, then you can analyze and see the taxonomy and what how the Bloom's taxonomy helps you to analyze all the levels of understanding that you need for, really assessing or instructing students. So, finally, I'll say that I feel that after this challenging semester, teaching and learning will never be as it was before. It will change forever. As from today, distant learning is here to stay. At best, hybrid instruction will prevail, blending remote and face-to-face instruction, changing regularities in the curriculum, and empowering agility, grit, and active engagement of students, which is so important. I'm sure that this crisis will have major implications regarding higher education, but these are beyond the scope of this presentation. I just want to conclude. I think I'll refer to what Eyal said before, commenting a few words concerning our profession and teachers. I think that despite the harsh voices against teachers in this crisis, deep inside, I don't have a survey, I don't have a research, we'll do that afterwards, but we sense it. Our business is important. We'll always need our teachers. Our mission at such times has never seemed more relevant. New challenges emerge and we must adapt to new realities. There are particular concerns about how the crisis is bringing many issues concerning teaching and learning open for discussion. At the same time, we can also see some opportunities and seeds of hope. The world takes a moment to rethink teacher education, wondering what will be the new normal. What really will be the new normal? So sometimes when you're in dark place, you think you've been buried, but you've actually been planted. That's how I see it. So thank you, wishing you health and growth, and Happy New Year next year without the coronavirus.
Okay. Thank you very much, Zippy. We've had a lot of things happening here. I'll even turn on my video here. There was not a great deal of questions asked because what people wanted to say was, I agree, empathy is what's important. And I think it shows up 4 or 5 times in the chat that people say, yes, teaching is one thing, but teaching toward empathy. So I don't think people are asking you a question because people simply want to nod their heads in agreement and say that they agree. And we're glad that you said these things. Liat, you have something in particular you want to?
There are also a lot of comments about trust. A message of trust is all our learners need today. And they complement on that message.
Okay. And we have a number of thank yous coming in here too. And here's a question. It's a little bit strange, I have to admit. What is your strategy for end of year exams?
First of all, my opinion is that we have to examine less, and less is more. And we, as I said before, inventing or reinventing ourselves, it concerns also assessment and evaluation. And we must see it differently, aligning it with the new instruction ways. So I think that, first of all, online exams are possible and we can do that. But I think we have to go from exams to a more subtle and deep strategies of evaluation and do less exams.
Okay, my teacher, Moshe Kaspi, used to say, yes, evaluation is wonderful. Ask me in 20 years what happened to the students that I was working with, and I'll be able to tell you whether I succeeded or not. So,
I come from the I am really a methodologist and, you know, my specialty is in evaluation and assessment, but I really transformed myself during this time, these years, seeing that, as I said, true learning and active engagement are a process. And you have to use exams for, you know, summative evaluation, but not in so constantly all the time. Assessment is the most valued and standards approach. I don't agree with this approach.
There's an interesting question here. What other movies do you recommend to deep dive into Bloom's taxonomy?
I haven't heard you, Leah.
What other movies do you recommend to dive into the Bloom's taxonomy?
This is a very recommended movie. Julia Roberts is in her...
Always recommended.
She is fantastic, and it's a movie about a teacher and what she goes through, and I think it's a mandatory movie to every teacher or teacher educator, whatever.
On a different note, someone has asked, where is Kibbutzim College and how many students and faculty are there? And I see that you've already answered that there. Okay.
Kibbutzim College?
Okay, in Tel Aviv with about 5,000 students and faculty? How many faculty?
How many faculty? 800, something like this. Not full time, not you know, full time faculty members, but part time also. Like I think 400 FTE, full time equivalents.
Okay.
It's one of the largest colleges of education in Israel, of course, if not the largest. Leave it alone.
Fine.
Dania Shapira is commenting that this is a great time for project-based evaluation. Okay, we will now take a break. Thank you very much, Tzipi, for an inspiring talk. And I see a lot of comments in the chat, and you may use this time of the chat to correspond to each other and answer the questions. I think there are really remarkable questions posted and a lot of interaction about international projects, etc. So we will take our break and we will be back at, am I confused? At 6:30. Okay?
Thank you, Liat and Jay.
Thank you. Litraot. See you in a bit.
Bye.